Planning for retirement would be so easy if you knew exactly what to expect. But life doesn't come with a blueprint, and there are so many unexpected surprises and emotions that we all go through. No matter how well we think we've prepared ourselves, there's always something that comes up. So today, I'm going to go and talk about the top unexpected sort of lifestyle shifts or emotions that I went through that you might face in your retirement. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Life Starts at Retirement. My name is Maureen Dobransky, and I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Saturday at noon. Now, most of us, or if you're anything like me, I shouldn't say most of us, if you're anything like me, you had a picture in your mind of what your retirement was going to look like. I know for me, I was going to be laying on a beach. I was going to be 20 pounds lighter than I am. I still think that someday. And every day was sunshine and roses. And if I'm honest with myself, that really wasn't reality of what life can be like. But I like to think, though, even though that wasn't really reality, I was planned and I had planned a lot and I was prepared. But I honestly wasn't prepared for some of the emotions that I did go through. So let's peek at some of them. The first one for me that kind of sticks in my mind, even still today, is the lack of routine. And I do think I was kind of one of the lucky ones because I left my corporate job. So going down the freeway every day, fighting traffic, an hour drive there, an hour drive back, being a manager. I left that corporate job a long time before I retired. So I went through a bunch of a lack of routine challenges when I began working from home. I started working from home after I left corporate, but I was self-employed. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get clients. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so every single solitary day, whether I had something to do or not, or every single work day, I would be in my office at 8 a.m. And I just figured it out. I just plugged away and figured it out. So that routine was sort of kept, but in a different way. I had to figure out things to do every single day. And then slowly I started to step away from working so much. So the lack of a routine for me affected me in bits and pieces as I started to step away. But I still struggle with this because I know myself. I know I need to be busy. I know I have to always have something to do. I can't just sit there. If it rains for 2 or 3 days in a row and I can't get out, I'm going crazy. So I know myself and I know I need to be busy. So I continue to make a routine for myself. And for those of you that watch this channel regularly, you'll know that we're off on the adventure of a lifetime. I'm a destination speaker on cruise ships, and we're off to see 29 different countries this year. But I spend a lot of time then working on those speeches and practicing those speeches. Without that in my life, I think I would struggle a lot more. Again, I like to be busy. I like to have routine. I like to have things to do. So the importance of a routine for me is very, very, very important. And many people struggle with this because now you have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fill. You have all of that time to fill. So creating even a loose schedule, maybe every morning you get up and you go for a walk, or every morning if you want to sit peacefully and have your coffee and, take an hour and read through your social media, whatever that might look like, create somewhat of a routine. I'd like to say a morning routine, maybe some exercises, maybe some hobbies. It really can make a big difference in how you feel fulfilled each and every day. And then along with a sense of routine is really a sense of purpose. Again, I need to be busy and feel like I'm doing something. Ken, my husband, he's what I call a putterer. He is 100% content. He searches through his social media for a few hours. He goes into the garage and who knows what he does. He's puttering around. He goes outside and does a little bit of puttering. He is a putterer. He just loves to do his thing. I'm not a putterer. I need more. And I'm sure I drive him crazy being so focused and being so busy. And I know he drives me crazy not doing anything all day, but somehow it works for us. We have both worked hard in our lives and deserve to be happy doing what we want. We, however, make sure that we connect every single solitary day. We talk about our day. We talk about what's going on in our lives. I tell him about my speeches. He tells me about what he saw or what he did. We connect every single solitary day. We golf a lot together. And then we do a bunch of other activities as well. But those are sort of formal things. But for me, a sense of purpose, of doing something, of looking forward to something every single solitary day is very, very important. And I miss that when I stopped working. Next, I did a video the other week on social connections and loneliness. And I really want to talk about that again. One of the biggest surprises for many retirees is how easy it is to feel lonely. Work is a natural source of social interaction. So once that's gone, you might have to work harder to stay connected to people. Now, I still see, mostly thanks to Facebook, I still see quite a few people from work, but see and actually visit and be with are two different things. I see them on Facebook. I might, have a conversation with them. I might see them once a year at a birthday party or some kind of a function, but I don't actually spend time. They're not my social connections anymore. And many people, once they retire, say that that's a challenge as well. Loneliness, social connections, isolation, lack of things to do, all is sort of grouped together, but it really doesn't have to be that way. So the video that I did the other week, I'll post it in the comments below. It's all about making new friends, how to do it if you're a little bit more introverted. So take a peek at that. But staying connected with friends is so important. Joining groups, volunteering, a lot of these things can help you to avoid that social isolation that you have. And it's so healthy for you to have friends, to get out and to have something to look forward to every single day. The next one that I didn't think would bother me, but still bothers me, is your identity might shift. And it's really weird how not working or not having a title can impact your identity. And I did not see that with me. But many of us don't realize how closely we're tied to our careers until they're over. So when someone asks you, hey, my name's Maureen, what do you do? It's natural to answer with, hey, I'm a sales manager or I'm a whatever. And in fact, I remember the first time, I'm sure it was the first time someone asked me, hey, what do you do? And I didn't know what to say. I felt great. I felt ridiculous. For some reason, I couldn't say I'm retired. Maybe I had this preconceived idea that being retired meant being not a contributing member of society, not anyone valuable. I'm not sure what it was, but I couldn't say retired. But I didn't have a job, and so I didn't know. I think I just made up something like, well, I just left my job. I was a sales manager, and I had 20 people. Like, they care. So it's really weird. But even still today, if someone says to me, what do you do? I tie it in. I say, I talk on cruise ships like I'm someone important, or I have a YouTube channel. Oh, my goodness. So I'm working on that, but it's crazy. And I think a lot of us need to work on that. Retirement really is an opportunity, though, to sort of redefine who you are and not have it tied to your job and have your identity. So maybe have some fun with that. And I think I have to take my own advice on that one. And then I don't talk a lot about the financial side of retirement, but I do have to say financial surprises are typically difficult for everyone in retirement. Even if you've saved well, you might find retirement expenses different than what you expected. And now with inflation, with healthcare costs potentially, your money might not just stretch as far as you had planned, and it can be stressful. And I won't pretend to have the answers here. But for me personally, I worried far more about money before retirement. I was obsessed with saving. I'd sign into I have a little website that shows my investments, and I'd sign into this little website and I'd go, ooh, and I'd put money in and I'd save. And I was the saver in the family. And now we know how much money we have. We know how much we can spend. We spend what we have, and away we go. And I don't worry. I used to lose so much sleep, and I don't worry about it. So fingers crossed that we're okay and that it stays that way. But right now, the financial side isn't to worry, but it sure can be. And then one more thing that surprised me about retirement was the feeling of being on a constant holiday. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing because you feel free, you feel light, but it can be both good and bad. So let me explain. So The good is I am happy, I'm free, I feel light, I feel great. Um, I'm excited, I love my life. But the bad is when I'm on a holiday, I give myself permission to overdo many things. I'll eat that cake and I'll eat that cookie and I'll have a second helping and I'll drink that wine and I won't move off of the couch because heck, I'm on a holiday. So I'll overindulge. And I need to realize, or I have realized, but I still work at this one. I needed to realize that this was my everyday life. And I can't do that for the rest of my life because it's not good for me. So I've had to make a plan to stay active, be conscious of what I eat and drink, and focus on the future because I have 6 freaking grandchildren I want to be around for. I want to see them get married. I want to see them have kids. I have so many goals in my life and have so much more fun that I need to remember I'm not just on a holiday every single day. This is my real life. And then just as a kind of a last thing, I want to just talk about the mental struggles of retirement. All of the above, along with almost anything else, can really cause people to struggle mentally. And in retirement, well, I think we're told all of our lives, retirement is your golden years. We wait for it for 40 freaking years and we plan to retire. And then when you do retire, all of your friends that are still working go, oh, lucky you, you're so lucky you're retired. And if you're struggling with it or struggling mentally, it's so often difficult to say that out loud because we're not supposed to. This is supposed to be the best years of our lives. So if you're struggling first, know that you're not alone. One study I read, I can't even remember where, it said about 35% of newly retired people feel lonely. About 48% of newly retired people have difficulty adjusting. And over 75% of people go through different stages of ups and downs throughout their retired lives. So again, you're not alone, but if you are really struggling, reach out and get help. Talking and discovering that other people are there going through similar situations and talking to people in the same stage of life can really, really make a difference in your life. So for me, those were some of the biggest lifestyle surprises, I suppose, that I found in my life, and many other people share those things. But again, my tagline is making your retirement remarkable. So I try hard to embrace this stage. I try hard to go out and do things, meet new people, set new goals, have much fun. And it's working so far, although I know I still have a ways to go. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more retirement tips and insights, and please consider joining our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/lifestartsatretirement.